Na gane ganewa ba za ta gane shi ba. Na gane ganewa ba za ta gane shi ba. Na gane ganewa ba za ta gane shi ba. Na gane ganewa ba za ta gane shi ba. Gida sunan sarkin da ya kare ya kura, wanda ya kwashewa shine ya kago saura. Kai na safar kwallon mara idan zan fara, yarda in baitocin gawa kasa in kasa ba. Na gane ganewa ba za ta gane shi ba. Dawa na kai tsira ga shugaban kyawawa, aligi da zafi. Gausul asiri ya gausul wakati, gausul asiri ya gausul wakati. To alhamdulillah mina ta godiya gare ka baramu, da kai na dogara da kai na kakar yayi birayu. Ka bani himma ka bani juriya tare da hikimu, ka taimaka mana ka karfafa mana ka agaza mu. A duk ya gausul warawa, ya samu zadirawa. Ayaye takurawa, a ba mai nesa na gari da kauyuka ga mu dole a bar mu da kai haka.
All right, greetings. This is the official recap of me on Saneter TV. I have to do this. I didn't want to do it, but just so happened if they take the video down, we won't have any proof. We won't have any proof. So I shared this on my other channel. You'll see it over there as well in the community. But I'm going to go right into the audio. I'll play the video and audio for us to see it so we can recap it to see if I made any mistakes, if I did what I needed to do to properly rebuttal Jabari and get him to thinking that, you know, let him know that we got some people out here who don't teach that Abo nonsense, Indian nonsense, and typical Moorish Tosh Tariq national more stuff. We have different types of ideology and backgrounds of information. It's not just the typical stuff they're used to. So I want to go in so I can get this for the record, just in case he delete the video, because I did my thing, or I appear to do my thing. I don't feel like I was that bad. But they winded up kicking me off because the excuse was they didn't want me to argue with Jabari. They didn't want to argue it. That's what Saneter said. It is what it is. It's his channel. But I represented for the indigenous Native Americans. I did not represent for the Aboriginal Indians. I don't support those groups. I don't like them. And, you know, for us indigenous Native Americans, yeah, I did what I had to do. Shout out to Paris the Moore. He stayed repping too. Go subscribe to his channel. Please do. Because he's got the good spirit and he's down for the fight. Support Paris the Moore, please. Please do. Okay, so let's go right in on the channel. As we can see, Jabari Osaze, it was his show. I didn't really know it was his show, and I was kind of disrespectful, and I apologize, because when you go on other people's platform, you got to be very respectful. But let's go right in to my audio where I come in at, and then he's going to cut right in before I land my plane. Mid-flight, he's gonna cut in like a mercenary military assassin to make sure I don't say what I'm about to say, because I actually came up here to challenge his stance on Kemet, and he wouldn't let me get to that. So let's just get me for the record. Don't want them to erase that. As you can see, I'm about right here with these other old timers just running their mouth. You can see me, the old light-skinned American. So let's see. I want to see if I can get me right. I come in right after this brother right here. I come in after this brother. So what I want to do is get his audio, because he said some nice statements as well. He made some nice statements. So let's get a little bit of what he got to say, and then I'm gonna come right in.
But then you get a whole bunch of people following them. Now you got the Aboriginal because of, you know, they want money and all of this sort of thing. But my thing is this: they're trying to blow away the out of Africa theory. Now, if this thing is so groundbreaking, and that if Ali could do that, he'd get a Nobel Peace Prize, man. Because, I'm serious, Jabari, because he's going against every scholar that I have read.
Yeah.
And he's also going against the grain, so he's very courageous in that aspect. So my thing is this right here: if the Aboriginals was already here, and you know this land right here, man, is just a regular land like every, you know, the rest of the earth. But what I'm trying to say, how did they get here? They just didn't pop up here. So
right.
How did you get here? Okay, so because we accept your argument, but just explain how did you get here, and then why would you want to go back to Africa if you were here? And here's my main point, and I'm gonna drop the mic on this one. Why, even from Africa, I got a couple of, because men say coup talk a lot, but I got a lot of information about how, you know, the Africans ruled Jabari through so many dynasties. They ruled for a long time before we lost power. I'm talking about as a world power. People don't know if you don't study, but we ruled for a long time, man, and we kept getting attacked, so we slowly lost power. However, why was the Aboriginals weak over here? Where the power come from over here if they was here first? Why? You know, what happened to the resources and the control? See, it don't really make no sense to me. So I'm gonna be sitting back, just watching him, Jabari. All you gotta do is sit there and let him talk himself into a little, you know, rabbit hole, man. Because you ain't gotta go down there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, and this is no disrespect to people, panel and everybody, but I know y'all see the trend. Every time something new come up, everybody want to jump aboard. They want to get mad at you because first it was, we are Hebrew Israelites, and then we are Moors. I had a couple of guys telling me that in my city, I live in Detroit, man, you a Moor, Rick. You a Moor. Man, I ain't no Moor. You know, they just telling us what we are. So, you know, in closing, man, our people have been devastated and we lost. We like a big lost tribe, and we just running around here, man.
Always remember, Suntan, we are the only people who have the biggest identity crisis. No one else have that greater than we are.
Yeah, that's
everything in the book but African.
Right. So,
you know, and so stigma has been attached to that.
Yeah.
You know, everything bad when you read it in the dictionary.
Yeah.
When you read it in the Black Law Library, the Moors say don't call yourself black.
The black cat.
They don't understand that this is just a political term.
Yeah.
We just called ourselves black, which was the opposite of white. Because the white man was running around talking about white power, white power.
Right.
And so you Stokely Carmichael and a few young teenagers came out, and James Brown joined the game, but he joined it from his music perspective. And so he hated being black because the white man made it ugly. And so James Brown joined it with his music. And he came out with "Say It Loud, I'm black and I'm proud." And next thing you know, everybody loving it. Everybody getting the afros back. Because we was all conking our hair. Even the sisters. And then the sisters go back into them days and you see them afros.
And remember, it was a trend, son. It was a trend.
You see?
It was a trend, man. They were following each other.
With these groups again, is that they bringing the hatred for ourselves back again.
Wow.
And bringing that back. You learn a little something about Moors of the Black Law Dictionary, and they say things like, the white man ain't gonna give you what you want if you keep calling yourself black. Well, if you call yourself a Moor, he ain't gonna give you what you want. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's all I was trying to
say. Let me bring on Class Eli in the building.
Can I say one thing real quick before you go?
Go ahead.
And this is a response to Lady Spade. She said, well, ask yourself, how did Africans get there? Human beings evolved on the continent. Modern humans evolved on the continent of Africa. That's the
You
if.
do that.
It's just, I don't know why she asked herself that. Because Suntan said, well, ask yourself, how did the Mayans get there? So she says, well, ask yourself how the Africans got there. Modern humans evolved on the continent of Africa. So it is the homeland to everyone on the planet. That's what happened. Okay. All right, son.
Right, Class Eli. What's up? Class S.L.
All right. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. We hear you, brother.
All right, it's actually OLAS, not class. And I'm a Moorish American. My name is Elijah Hill.
It was a C. That's
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's an O, sorry. But my contention is with out of Africa and DNA, obviously. So I'm definitely here to challenge Jabari Osaze. I've been watching you guys for years. I appreciate you letting me up. And first, before I go in, I'm not anti-African. I just don't accept African-American or Black as nationalities. I believe that we have a long-lasting relationship with Africa. Like the one brother was talking about the Amazon. If anybody don't know, the Sahara actually feeds the Amazon. They have a direct connection. You can go and Google that. So we have a land connection to Africa as well as the people, the Fulani, I believe. Now, my people are Utah Aboriginals from Utah, Alabama, Clarksdale, Mississippi. I'm a native from Chicago. And like I said, I am a Moorish American, and I teach this, and I know this. So before I let you go next, let me just make my point. I want to make the point of out of Africa already being debunked and recanted by its authors, Rebecca L. Can and Alan C. Wilson. They are the authors of it in the 1980s, and they abruptly recanted it. So that's already debunked. And evident DNA-wise, there's a distinction between our American Negro population. I call them Negroes just because that's what we're used to saying. But our indigenous American Negro population, there is a distinction with the third allele. And also, I'm an author of the first book of Moors and the discoverer of a granite pyramid in Madison, Wisconsin. That's correct. I found an ancient pyramid in Madison, Wisconsin. I would be glad to show y'all that. Y'all will love it. And as for the architecture, one of the brothers was talking about the proof and the resources. If you look at the world fairs, the expositions of the world fairs, you will see our architecture, and it is worded correctly as to our owners and builders of this architecture. Just Google world fairs and the expos, and you will see our Moorish building all throughout America being hidden and discovered the slaves, the Caucasian slaves. There's a place called Maritas Mills, Georgia. You can go and look this up right now, and we will see white people enslaved in 1905. They did not get their freedom until 1911 in the Mann Act or the White Slavery Act. So we have white slaves around here barefooted, working in cotton mills at 100 years ago. You're gonna have to answer to that because that's proof we had white slaves. Now, I'm not denying Black or African slaves. What I'm saying is not all of us are Black or African or slaves. So you have to account for us who have proof that we are not slaves or Black. As you can see, my skin color is not Black. Also, the Reconstruction period and era, the terms for readmission and the relationship, the new relationship with white people could be the point of them rewriting history. So let's keep going. I also take a compliment.
I didn't get what you just said.
He didn't get what I just said. Let's go back. I said,
You said?
oh, the Reconstruction era and the Confiscation Acts of 1861 and 1862 could be the point where they rewrote history and started to demolish our old buildings and started, inputting their Jim Crow apartheid, whereas you will forget who built these buildings. The point I'm making is at the World Fairs Expo, you can see our architecture, and we can debate on that and talk about who actually built these buildings and where we find the Moorish buildings all throughout America, including Helena, Montana. Now, yes. Am I African? Let me get this straight. There's only one people in Africa called African, and that is the Afrikaners. There's one only nationality. No, I am not an African. African means white man.
No, that's what it means to the white man. That's what the white man tells you.
Okay, all right, I disagree, but right now I disagree.
Are the Moors African people? The Moors,
the Moors are Maghrebians. The Moors are Maghrebians. They are Asiatic.
talking about the original, the Moors of history.
No, they are not. Let me say this, brother. Let me say this. There's 31 Bible verses called the Moor of Jesus. You can Google the Moor of Jesus. Moor is another word of saying mother, God.
Brother, one more question. Last question. Do you consider yourself to be a free white man? Are you a free white man?
No, I don't. I don't consider that. I don't agree with everything Moors put out on YouTube as well. I don't support Taj Tariq Bey. I don't support Sabir Bey. I don't support a lot of these dudes.
Go ahead, brother Jabari.
Okay. I listened to you speak for a little bit, brother. And I have to say that it sounds like, and I mean this with all sincerity, you need a history class. Because you put together a few facts that don't fit together at all. So the first thing you said that was really curious to me is you says the Sahara feeds the Amazon. And I'm not sure if you're aware of the word Sahara means desert. So you're saying that one of the hottest, driest places on the planet feeds one of the most humid, most places on the planet. I don't get that. And you also said that there were white slaves. I believe you're referring primarily to the indentured servants that came. Also, when there were actually black indentured servants at the earliest stages of Africans being imported to the West against their will. And so if you want to know more about that, I want you to look at the slave codes and the black codes. You'd find a little bit more about what happened. I would really like it if you would keep your camera on because I'm talking to you. I listened to you. I kept my camera on. Yeah, thank you. And so there were a number of things in the law that created differences between people of African descent who were indentured servants and then later to be called chattel slaves, and the Europeans. To know a little bit more about some of the conflict that occurred, particularly in Virginia at the time. Are you familiar with Bacon's Revolt? You should study Bacon's Revolt, and then we can have a conversation about that. You also mentioned that perhaps during the Reconstruction period, that's when they were destroying our buildings, right? Do you know what event created the Reconstruction era?
The Civil War, right?
No.
The antebellum South Civil War? I don't know. Tell me, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Essentially, the Reconstruction era is created by the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. So the war doesn't create the Reconstruction era. Those legal entities create the Reconstruction era. Do you know why the Reconstruction era ended? What event ended the Reconstruction era?
No, tell me. Go ahead.
Okay, it's called the Hayes-Tilden Compromise of 1877. You need to be in my class. You have an adroit brain. You're thinking, but you don't have the right information.
All right, can I say this though?
Hold on. I'm saying this I can't tell you how much humility and love I'm saying this to you. It's not meant to put you down at all. But what I'm saying to you is I'm listening to you shoehorn pieces of information that don't fit. And if you took a good history class, maybe you would even make a better Moorish argument than the one you've made right now.
Okay, what about out of Africa and the DNA? You glossed over a lot of other points.
Let me answer that.
Let me say one thing, brother. Brother.
Share the screen, Saneter. You said that the out of Africa
is debunked and recanted by its authors, and I have a contention with DNA. You're skipping over that. And there's one thing that I must say to you before I get off of you, if you don't mind.
And I'll let you say it, but hold on a second. This book came out in 2012, and it describes how human beings come out of Africa. It is a scholarly research book scholarly reviewed book. The out of Africa theory has not been debunked. It is the predominant theory for the evolution of human beings, and it's no longer just supported with fossils. Now the DNA record also supports the arguments that are being made. For you to say that the out of Africa theory is no longer in existence means that you're not reading the journals and you're not reading the books. I could give you a list of 12 of them from folks that are doing DNA studies, archaeological studies, human migration studies that they're not arguing whether people came out of Africa now. They're arguing how they came out of Africa. That's the argument that we're having. And that there's the migration model, there's the candelabra model. These models are important, but they're all out of Africa models. So to say that it has been debunked by two scholars who were not the originators of the argument is actually it's just not correct.
Right.
And I want to be able to get you into a class. If you're serious, you'll pick up this book and we'll talk.
I don't have a lot of time, brother. So like I said, we can easily Google the Sahara feeds the Amazon. That's a quick Google.
Yeah,
and
you can
yes,
Google it.
that's it.
You can Google all sorts of things. You can also Google, some ridiculous things. I don't want you to tell me just Google. You have to support the argument if you're
I can do that, but I'm just telling the audience, brother, like, please, like, let me just say this.
You'll never hear me say just Google.
Yeah, but that's my style. I'm not your parrot. I'm not like you. I'm just giving the people a heads up. I'm just giving them a heads up.
A scholar. And if you're serious, wait a minute. If you're serious, you'll get this book, and you and I will have a private conversation about it.
All right, no problem. But let me make my points. I'm a first-time guest, and I just want to make my points. I appreciate signing up.
You made a few points. You said you had one more point to make. So
I actually have. Okay. All right. Well, check this out. Let me just say this, brother. African Americans have Welsh names, and Welsh never had slaves in America. And you claim to be a chematologist or a teacher of chemi. Just for me. Don't interrupt me, please. Don't do that. I got you.
I do get to interrupt you.
Right. That's not fair. That's not fair at all.
Name the Welsh. What's the Welsh name?
Brother, Welsh surname. African Americans that have Welsh surnames.
Give me a Welsh surname.
Jones. Smith.
Welsh surname. Jones?
Yes, that's one of them. That's just one of them. I'm just making a point right now, brother. If you want to debate, we can do it. Let me make my last point. Could you just name one Pharaoh? Name one Pharaoh for me.
Wait a minute. This is my show.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
I'm letting you talk and I'm interacting with you, but you do not get to set the terms of engagement. And you should know that if you've been watching. I'm listening to you and I'm engaging with you, but you don't just get to talk. If you want to do that, ask Saneter to have a show.
All right, I apologize.
And so let me say to you, there are a large number of names that African Americans have. And I'm not sure why you would say that the British surname Jones is a Welsh surname.
Because the British amalgamated the Welsh.
Very much.
They amalgamated the Welsh. That's why. Hold on, brother. Let me do this. Because British actually amalgamated the Welsh. That's why.
Brother,
names.
you asked.
Come on, brother. Let me get some type of one, brother. You can't drown me out like that.
You asked. No, I'm not drowning you out. I'm dealing with what you said.
I'm telling you, the British amalgamated the Welsh. There's evidence of this.
You said, why do African Americans have Welsh surnames? I said,
and the Welsh never had slaves. Welsh never had African American slaves in America.
Brother.
Right, brother.
Not a Welsh name. You are incorrect.
Okay, here's a few. Richards.
Okay.
Cox.
Show us the
Roderick. Roland, like Kelly Rowland. Kelly Rowland's name is Welsh. Richard.
Show us the
Morris. Owen. Brother.
I'm about to tell him to cut you off. Show us the etymology of the name Richards. Show us the etymology. You've made an assertion. Now follow it up with data. What's the etymology of the name Richards?
Right. Let me make my last point now. I'll get up out of here.
Question.
I gave you the names. If he give me, If you let me on the show again, I'll do all that, brother.
I want you to tell me how the Germanic name Richards is Welsh.
Because amalgamation. They amalgamated the Welsh, the Royal Noble Welsh, these so-called groups. That's the answer. If you don't like it, it's not my fault. You can't do that. That's my ass. You can't do that.
Please share the
I gotta do something right quick, Jabari. Hold it down.
Go ahead.
I want to remove the brother because I don't want no argument while I'm gone. So go ahead and teach.
This is just, I mean, sometimes people make claims, and I want everyone in the audience to hold people accountable for their claims. That's all. Hold them accountable for their claims. If you're making an argument, make an argument. And don't tell me just Google it.
Right.
Especially if you're making a really extraordinary claim. That's a flippant comment that you might make if you're insulting someone. But if you're making
I gotta get up and go to work.
Support it. Peace, Brother Santan. Support it with data. That's not what I'm.
All right. Saneter obviously had to go for whatever reason, and they booted me off. I felt like I was rattling Jabari. I didn't mean to disrespect him because you got to understand, in their minds, they are top flight scholars and they're top flight teachers to the world. But we don't look at them as that. So I'm going in there thinking like, okay, maybe he's my equal or he's somebody who will allow an equal footing. But that is not the case. They run it. That's their show. And they treated me like the peon I was for the day. But what I'm going to do right here on this recap is rebuttal his points to the Welsh. And obviously the Sahara Desert feeding the Amazon. And also he mentioned Hayes Tilden compromise of the Reconstruction Act. So I'm going to start with that. Okay, let me read a few comments before I go in. The victors wrote all the public history for indoctrination. Obviously, he doesn't want to take that into consideration. Reconstruction is when they changed our history, and Jabari will only spout academia, propaganda, Pan-African crap. I support that. So let's start off with the Reconstruction because that was one of the first points I made. So let's go to share screen. And we're going to just show you what I was explaining because I try to explain it in English, plain English, and I don't think they comprehend well. So I mentioned the part when they started to reconstruct history during 1861, Confiscation Acts. That's what I believe was the Reconstruction era. So let's just say, what's the purpose of Reconstruction era? We're going to go here. They don't like you using Google. They don't like you searching nothing online. I don't understand that. I don't understand it. I believe you should be able to present any information, and it is up to them to rebuttal it. The Reconstruction implemented by Congress, which lasted from 1866 to 1867. This is in a Library of Congress. If anybody up there was listening, Jabari Osaze said it started during the Revolutionary War and Bacon's Rebellion. I could go back and let him quote that. He clearly said it, that the Reconstruction implemented by Congress started with the Revolutionary War. That was in 1776, y'all. This is in the Library of Congress, and it started in 1866. So that's already one below to Jabari Osaze. I said it would. The Reconstruction was them renaming, readmitting our people into the Union and making blacks more acceptable. Their names, their surnames, their appearance. They started rebuilding the black people's character and obviously rebuilding and tearing down some of these structures. That was the point that I made. Jabari Osaze loses that argument by a default. And it is no wonder why Saneter got me out of there because I wasn't budging. I'm not going to let somebody push me around with lies. That's his show or whatever, but I'm not going to let him bully me with a bunch of lies. Like I said, the Reconstruction era of 1861, Confiscation Acts 1862 was the point where they started taking our stuff legally through Congress. Now let's move on to the Amazon. Let's go and see if we can get anything on the Sahara feeding the Amazon. Okay. Let's say okay, what do we have here? Okay, let's say we're gonna get a scientific study on that. Y'all seen what I do. Y'all know what I do over here. That's why y'all name me Supreme Commander, and this is why the whole conscious community, including Aborigine Indians, are shutting me out. They want to shut me out because I have what it takes to represent us intelligently, respectfully, and I'm not taking no L's. This is why they're all joined in their Freemasonry schematics to keep me from having a voice. So let's say, does the Sahara feed the Amazon? These are points. Sahara does. This is according to NASA, my people. So I mentioned you can do a quick search, guys. That's all I said. What's wrong with a quick Google search on NASA's website revealing how much Sahara dust feeds the Amazon plants? So I'm going to tag Jabari's name on this video. They can't have me on that show because I've already gave him 2 L's. Already 2 L's. I can't play the video because obviously NASA will flag this video. We know that. But if we can, I'm going to zoom into this for some of Saneter's followers who might happen to stumble upon this channel. NASA's satellite reveals how much Sahara dust feeds Amazon. Maybe you guys could talk to Saneter to have me back on the show because Jabari was wrong. They have satellite footage of the Sahara feeding the Amazon, y'all. And I made that point. I was the first to make that point on the channel. I deserve credit for it. Let's move on to the Hayes Tilden compromise to see exactly what that's about. That's 2 wins for P&F. That's two wins for me. Okay, the Hayes Tilden compromise. Let's see what that's about, and does that have anything to do with what I was talking about? The Hayes Tilden compromise. This is scary stuff. This is very, very scary because this guy is allowed to lie uninterrupted. And Saneter, that's his friend. You're going to expect friends to look out for each other. He wouldn't want me to come embarrass that man on my first time up there. You understand? So I'm not mad at Saneter. You got to protect your buddy. Now, the Compromise of 1877, also known as the Wormley Agreement or the Bargain of 1877, was an unwritten deal. So already it's null. It's not acceptable. It's an unwritten deal informally arranged by members of the Congress to settle the intensely disputed presidential election between Republican Rutherford B. Hayes and Democratic Samuel Tilden. Okay, compromise, the end of Reconstruction. So it was the compromise of 1877 and the end of the Reconstruction. So in so many words I can put it, it was the end of them rebuilding American infrastructure and its antebellum South and humiliating Negroes. This was the end of them humiliating Negroes and stealing from the Confiscation Acts all they could steal. In a nutshell, that's basically what that is. So technically that is a triple L for Jabari. So let's go into the Out of Africa. He's saying Out of Africa was not debunked. Did I need to read more recent articles? Most recent articles debunking Out of Africa. So since he's confirmation biased, he's showing confirmation bias. He's not going to look into other articles that saying, oh, Out of Africa is debunked. Okay, I have the article. And the good brother Truth 111 actually gave it to me. I gotta go. I know I got it somewhere. Let me go and find it. I got it. I'm gonna find it. 111 Truth Seeker actually gave me the article, and that was a recent article debunking it. If not, I'll just go back to the other one. But I have the article. I remember the article. It was like 2020 or something like that. Debunking out of Africa. Okay, this is it right here. Black history. Nope. Wow, I don't have it. I must have erased it. I do not remember where I had it at. 12. That's deep. I would rather much like to have that article that he gave me. It must be on the other channel then. Let me see. It's somewhere up here. Colombo. It was so much I wanted to go over. This is it right here. Nope, the Caucasus. Alodia. The Romans. It's in here. I must have erased it, but it's in my history. It's in my history. I cannot find that article. I don't know. Let me go here. Maybe here somewhere, hiding around. The new Tory lanes, new tab, your paragraph. I have it. I know for a fact I have it. I just need some time. I saved it somewhere, so let me just go and do another quick search. Okay. Out of Africa. Let me just do a quick search. Out of Africa. And then I'm going to go back to Rebecca L. Can and read that. Okay, so let's go to this site right here. Okay, here it is right here. Let's go to Live Science. 1.5 million year old fossil writes out of Africa theory. And this one is leading towards Israel, I believe. And we also have another find in Morocco. So this is just one source. So that means he's biased. He's only biased towards Africa. A lot of people is looking outside of Africa. Here's another one in 2018. The jawbone discovery challenges out of Africa. And I believe this is by Tel Aviv as well. So Israel is coming through. They're coming through questioning the out of Africa model, theorized that humans migrated out of Africa and went a big push around 60,000 years ago. This find is among a host of other discoveries pushing back the date of human evolution. For example, 300,000 year old earliest modern human fossil from Jebel Irhoud, Morocco. That's the one I was talking about. And we know Morocco is the Maghreb. It is a part of America. I'm going to prove that in this video as well. Morocco and Maghreb is a part of America through the prime meridian. Americans, the West starts at the prime meridian. That is where the Maghreb actually starts. So out of Africa theory contradicted by Israeli fossil. And this is February 28, 1922, guys. So that is 4 L's I served Jabari. That is 4 L's I served him and proved he is confirmation bias. Now let's go into the Jones and the Welsh names. Let's do a quick search. If you notice, this rebuttal was an etymology of Richard, and he went straight to saying it has something to do with British and German when we know exactly what German is and we know what British is. The etymology of German is spearman. That means nothing. German means nothing. It means spearman. And British means nothing as well. It just means brights people. So let's say what did I say? I said Jones. Is Jones a Welsh name? A Welsh name. And then I'm going to prove it was amalgamated. A popular name, Jones originated in Wales. That's a quick search. It's a quick search, even in Wikipedia. Jones is the surname of Welsh and England. So it is up to debate on which is first, as simple as that. Jabari Osaze is not correct about everything. It's English and Welsh. And let's find out exactly why it's English and Welsh. Let's see. Let's go. Okay, I know I got it. I would feel bad if I don't have my Welsh. If I don't have my Welsh article up here, and I've had this article up here for months, and it's gone. I just don't see it. I had this Welsh article up here for months, and right when you need stuff, it's nowhere to be found. I promise you. Okay. It's nowhere. I had this one Welsh article. It probably timed out. So let's just say I could just do a quick search and just say if British amalgamated Wales. Like I don't even think he understands what amalgamation means. British amalgamated Wales, 600 AD. Okay, this might be it right here. No, this is not a good site. I don't want to use this. Okay, here it is right here. I can read this. And then I'm going to go to a more exclusive, respectable site. Over the century following their setback, post-Roman Wales, the Saxon, it's called them as the English now, pushed northwest to the Welsh hinterland. The attempted established control of the Wee Valley, but in a decisive battle around 630, the Welsh of Gwent repulsed their advance and pushed them back. I had several sources up here. I just wish I had those ones as well. Royal Welsh, Britain and Europe before Brexit. Okay, did British. Let me just say did British. I just need one source. History of Wales Now Wiki. Okay, McGill University. Departure from Britain. I'm going to be doing some reading right here. I already see what I need. The history of Anglo-Saxon England covers the history of medieval England and a Roman Britain and the establishment of Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in the 5th century until the conquest of the Normans. Dark Ages, 6th century. Larger distinctive kingdoms are developing. The arrival of Vikings in the 8th century. The Norman conquest. Okay. Let me just say, when was trust me, I have the sources. I'm going to come back with them. When was Welsh conquered by British? Let's just get the date, because I have a whole article by the Welsh. Okay, 1277. Why? When the English King Edward conquered northern Wales and made it its principality. So this is why we share names with these people. This is why we share names with these people, because of amalgamation. And I have a particular article I'm going to be using that is in my history because I cannot find it right now. I may be skipping over it and can't see. Okay, so we can read English conquest of Wales, 12 to 1400 years. This is during the Dark Ages. This is when they held our people hostage over there. And this is why a lot of wars was fought, because they held the African American Welsh people or L people hostage. This nation may now be harassed, weakened, and decimated by your soldiery, but it will never be destroyed by the wrath of man. Put these words into the mouth of an old man when faced by an invading English king. By the 13th century, most of Wales had felt at least a tentative grasp of mild Norman fists, while large areas of it had settled into uneasy rule by Anglo-Norman barons. Only the ancient principality of Witted maintained its theoretical independence. After the conquest of Britain, they followed the victory at Hastings in 1066. Norman power expanded through the British Isles, penetrating into the heart of Wales and across the Irish Sea into Ireland itself. So British conquered Irish and Wales, and both of those kingdoms have a direct relation to Egypt. Wales on the eve of Edward's conquest. This is what I'm saying. It was amalgamated. That is why we share names with British people right now today. And they were Swabia. They were Swabi. They were not Brit and albinos, as we know, Queen Elizabeth and her people. And what is the last point that we made? That is about it. Let me see. What could I go back to? I want to go back to the name Africa before I get out of here. I wish I can show that source because I have a wonderful source to prove the Welsh amalgamation by Britain. So let's say Afri. Let's say Afri. Let's go into Afri and show you why we're not Africans. Let's go exactly. Let's go in here. This is the page right here. I know it is. It's in here. Let me just look in here. I might find it. You never know. You never know. The Caucasus, a brief bloody history. The Mordvins. I think this is a Krenak. Okay, this is not it. Okay, let's just go in here and just look this up. Let's say I4. Let's say I4 in Welsh. I4 in Welsh. What is I4? No, what is ivory? Ivory in Welsh. Ivory in Welsh language, as we know, the western part of Africa speak Welsh and have Welsh names. There's a lot of Welsh names in Africa. We can easily see Avere. Ivory is the same word. Iforai. It's the same name as African. Afro. Afari. It's the same name. Jabari Osaze will not touch on this, proving that Africans mean white. They're literally giving you their dominion by getting you to accept African. And I don't support Jabari Osaze or Saneter call us Africans. I'm not an African. African means white. More means reddish brown, like morose. Morose. Like this right here. Let me show you. Let me show you what I mean by morose. Like Ross. Ross in Welsh. Ross. You see that? Rose. Rose. North Wales. You see that? Rose. What is Rose? Let's go back. It's Moros. That is Moros is the same thing as Rose. Let's say more in Welsh. More in Welsh. Do you see that clearly? More in Welsh is rose. The color rose. Red, brown. We are the red race that they are trying to extinct. We are the coppery red people they want to extinct off the earth, combined with the black and white Africans. The albino Africans, Afrikaners, and the black Africans have united to destroy the red race and wipe us off the earth, because we have led many expeditions into Africa and Europe and civilized those people as Nagas and niggas. They know exactly who we are, the coppery red, fiery race. We are the rose or the Moros. Moros is another word for the coppery red color complexion people. So, yeah, man, that is my official rebuttal to Jabari. That is my official rebuttal for right now. Shout out to Kawaku. I didn't need that long. I just wanted to go over the point. I want you to look over this Jabari and realize that you know what you know from your perspective. Your perspective is not all of our perspective. When we do etymology and research deep into these words, we configure this for ourselves. We don't really like to use academia. He likes to brag on his college degrees. I went to college as well and study abroad as well. I don't like to depend on that. I want to be independent, known as an independent thinker and researcher. So Jabari, you don't get to dictate and determine where our sources come from. Your job is to debunk them through peer-reviewed studies, of course. And I just want to let you know, I'm not a parrot. I don't repeat people. If I was to join your class, it would be on my own account, and I'm not joining your class because I feel like I'm an African. I just want to learn new studies. So I'm not dissing Jabari. I'm not dissing Saneter. You guys are not the leaders of information. You're the leaders of HOK, and it's making it tough. You have the toughest environment because you are biased, but that don't mean you are the people's choice. You are not chosen by the people to lead us. That remains to be seen. We are leaving that up to the people for who they want to be the best researchers and the conveyors of this said research. So with that being said, thank everybody. Thank Hope Orange L, one of the first contributors to my channel. And a lot of people, I seen root words in the chat. Shout out to root words. I'm going to unblock you, and hopefully you can do a live, because this should let y'all know and open y'all eyes up. The way I handle Jabari, you can tell that they are not ready. A lot of y'all that are against me in the Abo Indian community, let this be an example. You could have never went up there and did what I did. It would have snuffed y'all out in seconds. You would haven't even got your words out because you would have been too busy stuttering instead of repeating that old nonsense that you learned. And I also want to make an official statement. I really didn't mean to disrespect Taj Tariq Bey, because Taj Tariq Bey did teach some things. But teaching that we are national Moors and we are not a part of the government, it's like you're usurping the government and you're overthrowing the government. I don't support Rise of the Moors. I don't support that type of rhetoric. If you want to be a part of the government and make things change, go vote. Go become a mayor. Go become a sheriff. Go affect your county like that. Just telling everybody we not a part of the government and you're sovereign, I do not support that. So I did not mean to disrespect Taj Tariq Bey or Sabir Bey. I'm just letting you know I don't support what they teach. But they do have some things that you can utilize. So I don't want to make enemies like that, because that'll make people run away. But overall, I think I did a good job. I'm going to tag your name, Jabari Osaze. I want you to watch this video, and I had a question for you. Name me one pharaoh, and I was going to prove that you are not a chematologist or an expert in chematology. I don't call it Egyptology. I really wanted to make a point of contention on chemat. Maybe there'll be a next time. I doubt it. I doubt if Saneter let me come back up, because he did put me off. I wasn't too disrespectful. But yeah, y'all go into the comments over there and say, we would like P&F back over here. That brother made some good points until y'all disrespected him. And yeah, I tried to represent us well. You know, the indigenous native community. You know, so you leave a thumb up and share this to other people. And I think I'm going to put the link up. I'm going to pin the link to my new book. It is called The First Book of Moors. Let's go over that right quick before I get out of here, because I had to make some revisions to it. As you can see, let's go all the way up. I'm going to have to make some more revisions because I'm about to take some names off of the shout outs. I gave some shout outs, but a couple of y'all names was coming down. I'm going to take some of y'all names off of here. So First Book of Moors by Eli Don Ill, First American Edition, 2012 present. And I go right in. It was not easy. So accept this book as I presented it, because it was not easy. They made it really hard for me to present this book. And I don't think I have the picture. Yes, I do. I have it in here. Okay. Here it is right here. This is the discovered mirror or pyramid that I found in Madison, Wisconsin. I really wanted to show this on Saneter's channel because this is groundbreaking, ground shattering. Jabari Osaze, if you are really a true scholar and teacher of Kemet, there is no way you can deny a find like this. You should want to highlight this on Saneter's channel and your channel. You didn't find nothing like this in America. I found this, and this could rewrite history. If anybody want to hide this and cover this up, shame on you. Let's shine a light on this pyramid with these glyphs molded into this hard stone, which is almost impossible to do. According to our technology, with these people faces on there that look like Moors or Moorish people. That is correct. I discovered this. And this right here, Jabari Osaze, is the 15th Amendment being ratified. As you can see, the brothers with their fez and tassel in the 1800s. Jabari Osaze, am I sharing the screen? No, I'm not. No, I'm not sharing the screen. Hold on, I knew it. I felt it. I'm good at that. Okay, here it is right here. Let's go back to the pyramid. Here's the pyramid right here, the mirror. As you can see their faces, let's zoom in for Brother Jabari. Brother Jabari, you cannot deny these faces imprinted into this granite hard stone, one of the hardest stones in the world. Look at this stone found throughout the Americas, especially in Georgia, with these glyphs that we call petroglyphs, Brother Jabari. Don't deny the ancestors, Jabari. Don't be that naive, Jabari. I, Ola, Supreme Commander, our Lord and Savior, P&F, founded this pyramid in Madison, Wisconsin. And this right here is Moorish Americans, not blacks or colors. That's correct. In the 15th Amendment, of the ratifying of the 15th Amendment, and the reconstruction period is them rewording these documents, reauthorizing and revising. That is what the reconstruction period is about, Jabari. Don't do this, Jabari. Do the right thing. These are not blacks or Africans. These are people with a nationality leading a cavalry, leading with guns, showing you that we were not beat up slaves. We are the American freemen. We are the free people of America. So shout out to the Temple of Nagism. Shout out to everybody who's seen this video. Everybody on Saneter channel who's going to probably stop in and look at this channel. Go to P&F Research Group channel. That is where we have a plethora of information and videos that you can learn from, and a members only that I had to institute because people are taking my research, passing it off as theirs. P&F Publications, Estate 2013, as you can see, is the standard for social media conscious community productions and editing. American Institute of Advanced Intel Research is authorized through P&F, Great Lakes Gulf Coast Supreme Authority. And with that being said, I'm up out of here. I appreciate y'all. Share this video. Don't forget how important it is to support other Moorish American. And if you didn't get the name of that book, I'm going to put the link up. It's in my community. It's called The First Book of Moors by Eli Dunn L. It's my first book, edited by me. No misspelled words. And you'll like it. You'll like the information in there. Support me. Support a Moorish American who's putting in the work out here in the field, discovering artifacts like the Great Moorish Pyramid of Wisconsin, and put out this great First Book of the Moors. I expect to be on other people's channels that is getting it popping, and I expect to be able to showcase my work and my talent all across the conscious community. And until next time, y'all already know how I do. How I do you.
Kapuriyanan ga zuma ko silbari ya tija mun mace zuwa kafe gaban maka ya ko silwa gaji ko sir asiri to kai ne bayanan mu ko ina muke kowa ma ya sani da kai nake shiru da kai nake batu ya mai gini akan ka dola bi ka fada nake mai samun tautuni ka ne farin lawuwa ga na fula ya shi a dangini tilas a gaida kai ya komai da kai aka yi ba mai mana ban da kai komai sai da kai aka yi kausulaki ka tuwa za ya san zancen mota zantuka kausulwa gaji kausar asiri to ka ne abin ganin mai sagani kake ba kai sani haka ni da kauyi karimi a dankari ya zane ce maka ba ka kwatantuwa a dan kwatantuwa a gane zantuka ba ka sano kasa ba ka sano sama shiru da zantuka ya madadin yawa kun baka rayuwa tun babu mutuwa hawa da hawa tun babu hawa tun raruwar su mun sallama maka ya kusurwa gaji kusur asiri to karshen samu a samu soyayyar ka ya gausi barama sarki da tambura tilas a yi maka in ka ce an gama da kai na tushen hikima. Kane ashe kake komi idan muke ya an tabarama. Kuma muka yi kake cikin kana fake, salle da sallake. Kane ashe kake zama